Hello, if you're struggling to get to grips with value pricing, then in this video I'm going to share with you a really powerful technique for calculating price. I'll see you on the other side. One of my heroes is Ron Baker, author of Value Pricing for Professionals, which I first came across back in 1999. I've just finished reading Ron's brand new book, Implementing Value Pricing, and what a fantastic book it is. And there's one bit in particular towards the end of the book which you can find yourself when you read it on page 276, where he talks about a really powerful process for calculating what he calls reservation price. And as Ron explains in the book, this is a great process for you if you're struggling to get to grips with value pricing and you still think about hours and have timesheets. And this is how it works. You see, Ron talks a lot about in the chapter about when we shift to value pricing, when we give fixed price up front, one of the things we're doing is taking away risk from the customer. And the more we take away risk from the customer, for example with a fixed price, then we can charge a premium price. After all, that's how the insurance industry works. We all buy various types of insurance because we don't like risk. Customers don't like risk. So the more risks that we can take away from our customers, our clients, then the easier it is for them to say yes, and the more likely they will be to pay a premium price. So this is what Ron explains in the book, in this chapter, his formula for calculating reservation price. Now, what is reservation price? Well, as Ron explains it, there are three prices you should calculate. There's your pump fist price, and the pump fist price is the one that's an awesome price. That's the one you'd really love to get. Then there's your hopeful price, which is a great price. The reservation price is the lowest price that you would accept before you walk away. So how do you calculate that reservation price? Well, if you're struggling to come to grips with value pricing, and as Ron talks about in his book, value pricing is an art and can take years to master it properly. So as a starting point, if you still keep your timesheets and still think about hours, then a starting point is to calculate and think about price in the normal way. In other words, think about how long the job will take in terms of hours and multiply that by your rate. So that's the old way of doing things, the way that we've always done them in the past as accountants when we've kept timesheets. So calculate that as a starting point for calculating reservation price. Then what we do is we go through a series of steps to modify that price. So let's go through the steps. What we do in step one is we add on to that price what we think is the premium that the client should pay for us giving them a fixed price, from taking away the risk. You see, time-based billing, there's a risk from the customer's point of view, because the customer's thinking, well, if you take longer, your bill's going to be higher, which is a fair point, isn't it? With fixed pricing, we take away the risk. The client knows exactly what that risk is going to be. Now, what's interesting, as Ron says in the book, is he ran this past a seminar full of lawyers, and he asked the lawyers to estimate what premium they would be prepared to attach to these various factors. And the lawyers in the room suggested that by giving a fixed price, you could potentially add a premium of between 10 and 20% to the price. What's the second thing then? The second thing that Ron talks about is what Ron calls the change order premium. Now, in the UK, I've called this for many years the extra work order. And what we're saying here is that as setting out the fixed price agreement, we're giving the client the certainty of knowing that if they want anything extra doing over and above, then they can ask for that and we'll give them a fixed price for that extra if we change the scope of the work, if they want something on top. And for building in the ability for the client to have change orders, or as I call them, extra work orders, the room full of lawyers suggested that could command a 5 to 10% premium. Step 3 in the process then is then the service guarantee. And this is something I talk about a lot and teach accountants, the power of guarantees. This is one of the number one power strategies for getting more clients to say yes and at higher prices. In other words, it goes back to this thing about risk. The more that we can take away the risk from the client, the more they're prepared to pay a premium price. So we need to make sure that we build in guarantees. For example, if we were doing tax planning work, we might guarantee the results. We might guarantee that the client will save £40,000 in tax, and in the event that they don't, we'll reduce our fee accordingly. Now, that takes away the risk from the client's point of view and means that you're basically saying that you will either guarantee the result, or if the result doesn't happen, you'll reduce or waive your fee entirely. So the client can't possibly lose out. And the roomful of lawyers said that when you use service guarantees, then you could command a premium of between 15 and 25%. Step 4 is then the price guarantee. In other words, what Ron's talking about here is that you should focus your practice and make it very clear that your practice has a nose to prizes fixed fee policy. In other words, clients will never get an unexpected bill. And when you state that clearly up front in all of your proposals, your price lists, and in all of your letters, on your invoices, then that price guarantee again takes away any risk, any uncertainty from the client's point of view that they might have to get an unexpected bill. So that price guarantee again commands a premium, and the room full of lawyers in Ron's seminar suggested that could command 5% premium to our basic calculation. Then what we look at in step 5 is the payment terms, and as Ron says here, what we then want to do is make sure that we match the payment terms to make it easier for clients to budget for the payments. So one of the things that I advocate a lot of the firms that work with me, is they get paid via direct debits or standing orders, and very often up front, and I would certainly advocate getting paid up front, but when you make the payment terms, allow the client to spread them, it makes it easier for them, and again you could then have a price premium. And the lawyer suggested in this seminar that it could be between 5 and 10% premium just for giving the client flexible payment terms. Step 6 in the process then, and this is a powerful one I've advocated for years, is that what we should do is give unlimited access to our entire team as part of the fixed price agreement. Because when we take down that barrier, it makes it easier for the client to pick up the phone or drop by the office whenever they've got any questions. And we should encourage that, because more often or not, whenever the client rings us or pops in for a meeting, it's because they've got a challenge, they've got a problem, we can offer a solution, and very often we can charge a fee for doing some extra work, for getting an extra work order or change order as Ron describes it. Unlimited access is really powerful, and in Ron's seminar the lawyers in the room said that that would be worth a 10 to 20% premium. So if we were to add these things up, at the end of the seminar Ron said to the lawyers, when you have all these 6 factors in play, what could be the total increase in price, the premium price over and above the basic calculation, and that could be something around about 50 to 90% higher. And even if, as Ron says in the book, if you're wrong by 80%, you could still get away with 10 to 18% premium. Because here's the key thing. The key thing is, what we're doing here, remember, is we're taking away risk. And the more we take away the risk from the client's point of view, the more they will be prepared to pay a premium price. And we certainly should be charging a premium price, because the more risks we take away from the client, the more risks that we're putting on our shoulders. For example, if we charge a fixed price, then cost overruns for taking longer are no longer the client's problem, they're our problem. If we take longer, then we've got the risk, and therefore we deserve to have a premium price. Now, there is actually a 6th step in the process. I've given you 6 here. There's a 7th step. The 7th step in the process, you'll have to read the chapter in Ron's book, and he'll explain the 7th one. But it's a fantastic book. I strongly recommend you read it. There's some great processes for implementing value pricing. If you want to get some more training from me, I've done a number of free training videos helping accountants get better results with pricing. And you'll find below this video, I've put a link for you to some free training. And also, if you connect up with me on LinkedIn, then I'll happily accept your connection request. And whenever you connect with me on LinkedIn, I have a LinkedIn message, a standard message I send out offering some other free things. For example, you can get a free copy of one of my books, you can get free copies and free access to some training and reports. So connect with me on LinkedIn and I'll send you the links to all those free things, and click on the link below as well to grab a copy of some more free training that I've got for you. Anyway, I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.